Hi, Peter Mazzuchin here, real estate broker with Keller Williams Real Estate Associates and investor, and I'm here to share some pearls of wisdom with you today.
Peter, how risky is commercial real estate?
That's a great question. Most people think that commercial real estate is extremely risky, and in fact, it's been estimated that about 6% of the population is interested in commercial real estate and 94% is not because they don't know enough about it or they think it's too risky. The reality is that commercial real estate really protects the investor more than residential real estate in several ways. And I will get into those facets of it further on in this presentation. First thing I want you to know that commercial real estate, all the expenses flow through from the landlord to the tenant. So if you're the investor and you're the landlord, then you'd want all those additional expenses such as utilities, such as property taxes, such as maintenance, such as insurance to flow through to the tenant, would you not?
Of course.
And in residential real estate, typically those expenses creep up on the landlord. So it's better for you as the investor to obviously have those expenses completely neutralized. That way, when you have an absolute net lease in commercial real estate, then you know that you're getting your net rent regardless of what happens with those uncontrollables, such as who can control governments these days, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's property taxes. Who can control maintenance and contractors and insurance companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have your absolute net lease as a landlord, by structuring it properly and having the proper realtors protecting you, then you will be in the driver's seat, so to speak. Obviously, mitigating your risk. Wouldn't you agree?
Of course. Peter, what does RTF stand for?
RTF, three of my favorite letters. RTF stands for refinancing tax-free. And specifically on a real estate investment, were you aware that you could actually refinance your commercial real estate investment and take those proceeds out of that investment tax-free?
No, I wasn't.
Now, wouldn't you like to be the beneficiary of that?
Of course.
Okay. So, as for example, when one refinances a commercial real estate transactions, typically they're a lot larger than residential transactions, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And once you do that, let's say you refinance a commercial real estate transaction by, let's say, a nice round number, $500,000. Taking that $500,000 out of that investment, still holding on to the investment, now that's considered refinancing. There's no capital gains triggered at that point because you're still hanging on to the investment. So now you've got $500,000 extra money that's been refinanced out of that commercial real estate investment, and it's tax-free. And guess what? How often does the government give anything away tax-free?
Never.
Well, this is one example of where they're allowing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one example that a seasoned investor and seasoned investors have seized and taken advantage of. And I welcome you to do the same.
Peter, commercial real estate is so easy. Why isn't everyone doing it?
Well, commercial real estate is a wonderful concept. However, most people have difficulty understanding the myriad of convoluted formulas that exist in commercial real estate and the options. So that's why, just like anything else, it requires the expertise of the proper realtor and tour guide, so to speak, to show them the ropes. Because the reality is, when all of us learn something for the first time, it becomes difficult for us to handle. Let's take a simple example, such as riding a bike. The first time that you were taught how to ride a bike, were you just able to get on that bike and ride it?
Definitely not.
Most people won't. Mm-hmm. Most people can't. They need to have someone to coach and instruct them on how to ride properly. Now, then once they learn how to ride, most people still learn how to ride even years later, even if they've never gotten on a bike after that. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
It's much the same with commercial real estate. However, it's having that guide, that mentor, that realtor with them to show them the ropes. The other benefit about commercial real estate is knowing that The benefits are there, they will continue perpetually. The reason I say that is because that tax-free investment remains a tax-free investment from a capital gains perspective. You're still going to obviously pay tax on the net income that it generates. However, think about it. If your property is generating net income of $100,000, to use a nice illustrative example, $100,000 net a year, then for you having to pay tax on that, understand that you're getting $100,000 net before tax. So for the people that get upset that they might have to pay, say, 45% tax on that, yes, they'd be paying $45,000 tax on the $100,000 net income they receive. They're still ending up with a $55,000 net before that. That's $55,000 better than if they didn't have that commercial real estate investment at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they always have to look at it on that basis. And the other thing is about the capital gain being tax-free. So long as they continue to hang on to that commercial building, then they will never have to pay the capital gains tax. So it doesn't get any better than tax-free. And that's why refinancing tax-free is a wonderful phrase and three of my favorite letters put together.